So you can start.
Thank you. So, hi everyone. We're honored to have here with us Udo Vetter. Thank you, Udo, for being here.
Thank you.
Udo is the chairman of the board of Vetter Pharma, one of the top pharmaceutical service providers in the world. It's a German company. At the same time, he's founder of UVCAP, and at the same time, for the past 4 years, he's been president of European Family Businesses, which is the federation of family business associations that represents the voice of family companies in the European institutions. So welcome, Udo. Thank you for being with us. We're going to proceed to several questions, and they're going to be addressed to our Polish friends. Let's start with the first one, which is, how are family businesses in your country reacting to the current geopolitical situation? Of course, we are referring to the conflict in Ukraine.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. And I'm very honored to be able to talk to you about the family businesses in specifics. As we go along, we kind of get a little bit of a sense of where all that family business activity is something that where business also has emotion. And that is exactly what is happening on the Ukraine situation. Ukraine was has quite a structure of family businesses as well in recent years, and our heart is out to them being attacked, and therefore I think there is a tremendous amount of deep feeling in the German and in the European business community on trying to help. And we do this by collecting things and sending them to Poland so that they can be distributed to the Ukraine. And we support with transportation and all of that kind of stuff, as well as we have in our town, which is in a provincial situation. We have over 2,000 women and children, and most of them don't speak English. They don't speak the local language. Right. So in our company, we had over 40 people from Ukraine, and 20 of them we gave 2 weeks off to help with the refugees on language, on formalities, on just getting on with life as refugees in Germany. So that's, so to speak, I think the deep rooted how we support freedom, and we hope that the freedom will return to Ukraine after this monster has been thrown out.
Thank you. Yeah, that's an amazing effort that you're doing.
But I think our heart is also out to the Polish people, I must say, who are on the border and who have to take the initial blunt. And I think that there's a tremendous amount of support also within the Polish people and the Polish business community to support and to basically pass this materials and all this thing through to help the medical supplies and sanitary supplies and what have you. I think there's a tremendous coming together, and I believe that Mr. Putin's strategy of trying to divide Europe up has not worked, because whatever he has done to separate us is now coming back with exactly the opposite, where everybody is standing together and saying, no, this is not right. We have legal rights for every state within the borderlines that they were assigned 80 years ago, where we, so to speak, made a new division. And now we have this, and therefore everything needs to be done in order to be able to support the Ukrainian people on this.
Thank you. Yep. I have another question for you regarding the situation in general as family businesses, the reaction. So Do you think now they are they are focused on investment growth, or are they cautious, planning to slow down and wait?
Well, I think that the investments tend to be not planned on the QT and are not planned just on a short note. Investments in follow normally in family business a certain degree of strategic following of what the business plan calls for. Now, obviously, the business plan may be a little bit prolonged or disturbed by high energy prices and by other influences that come onto business. But I think that an investment situation in family businesses is always for the long run. And in the long run, the investments and particularly in family businesses where we think in generations and not in quarterly results, I think that, so to speak, what really separates us for maybe other businesses, and therefore investment is a strategic component and not influenced very, very much by local occurrences like the one that we have right now. And it was the same thing also through COVID. I think there is maybe through COVID to take that into that direction. A lot of businesses invested into the new entry forms and that kind of stuff, and they maybe didn't invest in buildings and things because they needed to really work with what they had. So it's sometimes investments or strategies get prolonged or delayed through these kinds of occurrences.
Who do you think family businesses trust? What do they look like for reliable information?
Well, I think that that's probably a little bit. I'll have to separate the question. I think that if you look at it from a branch point of view, I mean, obviously, somebody who is in the retail business or somebody is in the manufacturing business have different sources. I think you first have the branch information, which is associations, and associations are a very good source because you can, in the different regions of businesses, you can exchange knowledge without being competitively hampered by exchanging that information. I think that's a very trusted experience. The other thing is, I think it is very easy today to particularly if you are capable of speaking English very well, like you're listening to this, it is very easy to log on to Financial Times, to Harvard Tribune, and other publications, even to a certain extent, maybe the New York Times, which is very internationally structured, where when you read 2, 3, 4 kind of things, magazines or newspapers online, like we do this interview, then I think that you get a very good picture, and you can basically trust your senses after with that kind of information. And then maybe you join an association which provides also reliable information, and I think that could be also the idea in order to get trusted information.
Very good point. This is not a normal period. We are really certainly coming into a crisis of different factors. How do you think family companies create strategies to face these situations, this type of situations?
Well, family businesses can always look back, and they have history, and then they can maybe say, well, that there was a similar crisis. Like say we had an energy crisis in the 70s. How did we deal in the 70s with the energy crisis? Therefore you can take a look at what happened then. What did the business do in order to be able to survive that particular crisis? And then all kinds of. I don't think we had a pandemic before, so I don't think that there was a lot of new land to be covered in this realm. But I think that due to the fact that we don't react to crisis in an overburdened way, and because we look for the long run. We are in a region. We therefore have the opportunity to go forward from a regional point of view, and maybe our markets are disturbed, so then we have to adjust our outputs to those kinds of situations. But I think that if you're working in the long run, then also you don't have to basically pay dividends on a very quick situation. So that those are the kinds of things that I think that are important for a family business, versus other businesses, and therefore we probably are the best to work with crisis.
Right. And particularly something that really matters for our Polish colleagues. They are particularly interested in knowing, how do family businesses in Germany build independence? What do you think?
Well, I think that independence is the core essence of a family business, and we are in business to serve not only our family members and shareholders, but we also serve the society. And due to the fact that we serve the society, we need to be able to create enough income in order to be able to pay for our own future. And therefore, the responsibility and the ownership are in the same hands. And I think that, so to speak, makes it very, very clear that we need to go forward on an independent basis. And the moment we lose our independence, we're nearly sold to somebody else, and then the independence is gone. But I think that the independence is created through the use of the positive use of profits in the company, and not the profits that you pay out to owners. And so that's a key aspect of family business per se. And so independence, yes, it's one of the most. It's the core.
Right, and that's it's a similar question but different at the same time. And I tell you that this answer of yours, they want to play it in social media, in their social media, these people, right? So that's why
yes.
I just wanted to let you know. The question is, how do companies in Germany build resilience?
Well, I think that when you look at it from an economical point of view, resilience is built on the fact that you have a good balance sheet, a balance sheet that has capital that you have capital in hand, that maybe your capital base is 30% or something like that plus, so that in troubled times you don't have to immediately go to the bank or go to make deals in order to survive from an economic point of view. But I think there's another set of resilience. I think that we tend to have regional businesses in most cases. Family businesses tend to be regional businesses. Maybe their products have a worldwide reach, but they tend to have that, and therefore I think that in themselves they have a lot of power to maybe for a year or two pay no dividends, because that money needs to go into the business. And so that's the fair nature of family business in that particular respect. And there is therefore a lot of resilience to this, because number one, why is the business there? It is because the product, whatever it is, a service or a physical, a haptic type of product, it's needed and used by the customer. And obviously, when the need for what you produce goes away, then you better find a new product that is needed. Otherwise, the reason for your business is not there. I think, but that's the innovative cycle that we have within our businesses.
Sure.
Yeah.
Another question, of course, always connected with this crisis that we are undergoing. What dilemmas might arise? What steps will the owners take, and what will they do in this situation? What do you think? How are they facing it?
Well, I think that the thing is that the overall crisis needs to be analyzed in terms of what is the impact on your business. Is the high energy prices for you a crisis? Is it possible to take the price increase on energy that you need in your product? Is it possible to pass that on a temporary basis to the customer? Is the market capable of that? And I think that you have to, maybe on a 3-month basis, you have to readjust the fundamentals of your income stream and your cost streams. And so that's one thing. On the other hand, as I said, a family business may not necessarily have to pay dividends if the crisis is understood and it is and it can be fixed in a temporary way. And so I'm not necessarily the one who said let's go and call for government subsidies and stuff like that. And I think obviously there are things where maybe the government has been putting a lot of taxes on energy, and it's now time to look at is this still correct? And those are the kinds of things which I think governments need to do in order to be able to help the economy as a whole to deal with that crisis. But I mean, first of all, your own nose is in your own face, and you have to go. And this is the idea of being an entrepreneur, of dealing with these kinds of things. And then if a government tax situation or tax break comes along, well, that's fine. Then we'll take that. It's like gravy to the sausage.
Yep. All right. Thank you so much. And finally, the last question. What is wealth to you in family businesses?
Okay, well, I think that wealth can be defined in many different ways. Obviously, most people, particularly the Wall Street thinkers, think of share prices and lots of reporting on all that kind of stuff. I think that a wealth of a family business is in, first of all, it is in the product, in what you do. Is this valuable to society? Is it valuable to the customer? Is it valuable? We have this funny thing is that the worm has to be tasteful to the fish, not to the angler. So in that way, I think that, so to speak, the first value is in that that's the first value driver. And when that kind of value driver is okay, then the financial situation will improve, or will be there to be able to grow the business, to go forward with the business, and reinvest in the business. And I think that, so to speak, where then a lot of wealth comes in, and then the wealth also is in the knowledge base of your employees. It's a very, very important aspect. This is not something that is recorded in your balance sheet, but it is something that is needed, and that is very valuable, very, very much a wealth driver. And the last one is that in your region, you're known for stability. You're known for taking care of your employees, and there is a lot of wealth in that particular thing. And if all of that is correct, then there may be also a few shekels or slotties in this case also left in order to be able to maybe have some material benefit for the owners and for the risk takers that are in that particular business. So I think that there's 3 components to wealth that I tend to look at.
Well, that's very clear and very inspiring. No, it's not only money. Wealth is not only money. That's very clear for family businesses. So thank you so much, Mr. Vetter, for being with us and for taking your time to to address our Polish colleagues, and I hope that this crisis will end soon. But with your inspiration, that gives some hope and fresh new ideas to
Yes.
this region that is actually suffering very much. Thank you so much.
Well, let me thank you so very much also for the opportunity, and also make sure that you keep it up, you in Poland, to help us through this crisis, since you're a direct neighbor to Ukraine. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.